Tom's father bought his first home in 1987. Teacher's salary, 1 income, 3 kids, a mortgage he paid off in 22 years. Tom is 36, also a teacher. 2 incomes in his household. No kids yet. The equivalent home in the same city costs 4 times more in real terms than it did when his father bought. Tom is not less responsible than his father, not less hardworking, not spending more on luxuries. The math simply works differently now. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what changed. With real numbers. No blame, no politics, just the data that explains the gap. Stay with me. Before I show you what changed, I need to show you one number. That makes everything else make sense. In 1987, the median home price in most English-speaking countries was approximately 3 to 4 times median annual household income. Today, that ratio sits between 7 and 12 times, depending on the city. In some major cities, Sydney, London, Vancouver, San Francisco, the ratio exceeds 15 times median income. This single shift explains most of the generational housing gap. Everything else is detail. Here's the twist. Wages didn't fall. They grew, just far more slowly than home prices. Over the same period, real wage growth since 1987, approximately 15% to 20% above inflation. Real home price growth since 1987. In most major cities, 150% to 300% above inflation. The gap between those two numbers is the housing affordability crisis. In one comparison, now the 3 structural shifts. That drove prices up faster than wages could follow. Shift 1. Supply never kept pace. Population grew significantly from 1987 to today. Household formation increased, but housing construction in most major cities did not keep pace with demand. Zoning restrictions, longer approval processes, higher construction costs, limited supply while demand kept rising. Shift 2. Housing became a financial asset. In 1987, most people bought homes to live in. Today, homes are also investment vehicles, held by individual investors, corporations, funds. This additional investment demand competes with owner-occupiers and pushes prices beyond what income-based demand alone would support. Shift 3. Decades of low interest rates inflated prices. When borrowing is cheap, buyers can pay more. So they do. And prices rise to absorb that capacity. When rates eventually rise, prices don't fall proportionally. They stay elevated. But the monthly cost rises dramatically, creating the worst possible combination. High prices and high rates simultaneously. Here's the most important twist. Tom's father didn't benefit from better choices. He bought in a market where the structural conditions worked in his favor. Tom is buying in a market where those same conditions work against him. Understanding the structural cause changes how we think about the solution. The inheritance gap, the factor most content about generational housing never mentions. Tom's father bought a home for $95,000 in 1987. That home is now worth approximately $780,000. When Tom's father eventually passes, that asset transfers. Tom's colleague Rachel, whose parents rented their whole lives, receives no such transfer. The generational wealth gap in housing is not just about who can afford to buy now. It's about who receives inherited equity from parents who bought when it was affordable and who doesn't. This gap is growing in every English-speaking country simultaneously. Here's the most important twist. This video is not about blame, not about which generation made better choices. The data shows structural changes that created different conditions for different generations. Understanding that is more useful than arguing about it. Tom's father bought on one teacher's salary. Tom can't buy on 2. Not because Tom failed, because the ratio changed. Over 38 years. This video just opened a window for you. You've seen the real numbers, the 3 structural shifts, and the inheritance gap nobody talks about. What you do with that window is completely yours, because everyone's situation is different. One question before you go. Did your parents own a home? And has that affected your financial starting point? Drop it in the comments. Next week, the down payment trap, how long it actually takes, and what changes the timeline. Subscribe, hit the bell. See you next week. Educational content only, not financial, legal, or real estate advice. Always consult a qualified professional in your area.